What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got another prize deck to talk about from Keyforge. Now, I know we've been doing a bit more Transformers lately because there's been lots of reveals, but I haven't forgotten about Keyforge. I still love me some Keyforge. So let's take a look at the champion, the prize deck from the Italian Grand Championship, Geely Grand Champion. Remember, this is not the deck that won the championship. This is the deck that was the prize for winning the championship. And now I have looked at a previous Grand Championship prize deck. I'll pop a link in the description. But once again, we see something a bit special here. There is a legacy card. Might just be a coincidence. You never know. But the previous Grand Champion deck had this Ambassador, which is kind of a special card. It's not one that comes around very often. And now this one goes and has a legacy card. Just saying, it seems like they're making these decks cool. Now, the legacy card in question is Hallowed Blaster in Sanctum. It allows you to heal 3 damage from a creature as an action on an artifact. Cool. So, let's take a look at the deck in total, shall we? So it's a Dis Sanctum Untamed deck. And right away, look at this. 2 copies of Unlocked Gateway. I adore Unlocked Gateway. Unlocked Gateway just destroys every creature on the board. Now, it is an Omega card. That is to say that it must be the last card you play on your doing stuff part of the turn. But as long as you've done everything you want to do, you play it down, boom, everything goes away. Although, please do try and make sure you haven't got any creatures on board you really cannot part with, because when you play Unlocked Gateway, you are definitely parting with them. But it's pretty good as a board wipe. A lot of people lately have been talking about the fact that without a good board wipe, some decks just cannot compete. Yeah, you can't accuse this deck of not having it. But there are other annoying things about the Dis suite in this deck, and really annoying is what you're looking for with Dis. Chief among them, Tesmal. It's a 2-power elusive creature, and when you reap, you choose a house, and your opponent is not allowed to choose that house as their active house next turn. That sounds kind of fun, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be honest with you. Sounds pretty good. We've got Gongoozle that deals 3 damage to a creature, and either it destroys them, or your opponent discards a random card from their hand. And then, of course, just in case we weren't wiping the board enough with Unlocked Gateway, we've got Onyx Knight, which destroys each creature with odd power. And yes, that is yours and your opponent's. Now, there's also some kind of alright Amber generation here. Dust Imp is a 2-power creature, but you gain 2 Amber when destroyed. Will be destroyed with Unlocked Gateway. Unfortunately, will not be destroyed by Onyx Knight, but you can't have it all. And we've got Misery Exploit, which gains you 1 Amber for each damaged enemy creature. So if you can damage a few and then kind of leave them hanging, boom, in we go, job's a good un. And we've even got a little bit of Amber control here with Shula. Shula, you play it down, it's got a coming into play ability. If your opponent has 4 Amber or more, you steal 1. Cool. We've then got 2 copies of Not Finished With You, which shuffles as many creatures as you like from your discard pile into your deck. So get your Dust Imp back and, do it all over again. We've then got Yerk. When you play it, you must discard a card from your hand. Can be good for clearing out your hand, because remember, at the end of your turn, you draw until you got 6 cards in hand. Emptying your hand can be good. And Library of the Damned has an action which archives a card, which can be very useful for, wait for it, archiving a card. Keeping it for later, holding it there so that it's ready when you're ready to actually go about using it. So I like the Dis suite. And it's kind of weird, right? Because these champion decks, these prize decks, they're not really here because they're these amazing decks that are unbeatable. But they seem to be alright regardless. Now, the Dis suite is alright, but I also really quite like the Untamed suite. And largely here it's for key charge. We like key charge. Key charge is a key cheating card. It allows you to forge a key other than at the beginning of your turn. You play it, you lose an amber, and then you may forge a key at current cost. That's going to help. And what we really want to do here is, well, just gain as much amber as you possibly can. And we've got some here, but it's not stunning. What we have is 2 copies of Life Web. Gives you an amber bonus, and if your opponent played 3 or more creatures on their previous turn, you steal 2. So okay, this isn't a Shadows deck, but we had a little bit with Shula in this, and we've got a little bit of amber control here with 2 Life Web. And while we're here, we might as well mention the Penth Seed. Now, the Penth Seed is one of the best artifacts in the game. You sacrifice it, and then you return a card from your discard pile to your hand. And that could be a key charge grabbed back when you've got enough amber to use it, but it could also be something like an unlocked gateway, if you really need to clear the board, although obviously you'd have to play it next turn. One of the things I really like about this, of course, we have Library of the Damned, so you can always just archive that key charge and save it for the perfect time. Outside of that, we don't have great amber generation here. Now, I do like that we've got Dusk Witch, because Dusk Witch basically says that creatures that you play are just ready to use. You play them, they're ready to go right now. Although it is another Omega card. So they're not really ready to be played right now, they're ready to be played next turn after you play them. Dusk Witch is down, your turn ends, and then next turn you can play creatures and use them immediately, whether they are untamed or not. And we also have a copy of Nature's Call here, which returns up to 3 creatures to their owner's hand. Now this can be used to get your opponent's creatures off the field, something like a Dusk Witch for instance. But you can also use it for reusing your coming into play skills. And that's what I really like here. Use this to play it down to get a coming into play skill. Shula, great example of this. When you play it down, you steal amber. Or Onyx Knight, when you play it, you destroy each creature with odd power. It's not quite so good, unfortunately, in this, because there aren't any creatures with coming into play abilities, which is a little bit sad. Now, we do have Mama Swarm, gains +1 power for each amber in your pool. That could be some powerful little squirrels. And we've also got Kindriff Longshot. It's got Elusive and Skirmish, and when you reap, you deal 2 damage to a creature. But there really aren't many creatures in Untamed at all. We got Dusk Witch, we got Mama Swarm, and we got Kindriff Longshot. It's not very much. But we have got some cards that are going to stop your opponent doing what they want to do. Persistent Hunting exhausts each enemy creature of a house that you choose. That's going to stop them working. And we got Fog Bank here, which stops your opponent using creatures of any house to fight on their next turn. And if you really want to go over the top here, Save the Pack will destroy each damaged creature and then give you 1 chain. What's kind of annoying here, we've got Misery Exploit that gains 1 amber for each damaged enemy creature. We got Save the Pack, which destroys each damaged creature, friendly or otherwise. But we don't have lots of ways of spreading damage around. Now, we do have Gongoozle, and we do have Kindriff Longshot, but this is not a great deck for spreading damage. At least not in Dis and Untamed. We'll have a look at Sanctum in a moment. And then we've got 1 copy of Nifflegrounds. Nifflegrounds is an artifact with an amber bonus. You choose a creature, and for the remainder of the turn, that creature loses Taunt and Elusive. So really nice. Well, if there are creatures that you want to attack that you shouldn't be able to, this will help you out very nicely indeed. Now, going over into Sanctum, this is, of course, an Age of Ascension deck, because that's the current set. We've got some decent creatures. Lion Baltrum has Deploy, so you can put it anywhere you like on the battle line. And it gives its neighbours +2 power. Abond the Armorsmith gives friendly creatures +1 armour, and has an action that can give them another +1 armour. Of course, between Lion and Abond, we're going to have some pretty beefy creatures. Bordan the Redeemed is an elusive creature, and it's got a really nice action that just steals 2 amber. Or captures. It doesn't steal, it captures. So we've got a little bit of amber control in all 3 houses, though nothing over the top. Shao the Safeguard also has Deploy and Taunt as a 4-power, 2-armor creature, but if played properly with Lion and A-Bond, you can have a 6-power, 3-armor creature. That's a little bit better. We've got Sir Marrows. Now, I adore Sir Marrows. Again, we've got 4-power, 2-armor, but after your opponent gains amber by reaping, you capture it. All of it. That's pretty nice amber control. Again, we're not up to Shadows levels here, but we've got ways of controlling amber in all 3 houses here, enough to at least keep us going for a moment. And then we've got the Grey Rider. When you play or fight or reap, you may ready and fight with a neighbouring creature. This is going to really help, especially bearing in mind we've got Lion, Baltram and Abon the Armorsmith to really beef up your creatures. And we got ones like Shal and Sir Marrows that are pretty beefy, though really Sir Marrows should probably be kept there to, should be kept there to capture amber. As a side note, you want to put Shal down next to Sir Marrows. Shal has Taunt, which will protect Sir Marrows. Sir Marrows wants to stay out. And between all of these creatures, I really like the Sanctum line of creatures here. There's lots of very cool stuff. Now, outside of that, we've got Golden Aura. Choose a creature, fully heal it, and for the remainder of the turn, it is House Sanctum and cannot be dealt damage. So you could use that for any creature, but to be honest with you, like all your best battlers here, all the best creatures of battling are in Sanctum anyway. We've got Hallowed Shield, an artifact that protects a creature for the rest of the turn. We've got Healing Blast, which fully heals a creature, and if you healed 4 or more, you gain 2 amber. And you've got Shield of Justice for the remainder of the turn. Each friendly creature cannot be dealt damage. Also, Seraphic Armor gives a creature +1 armor and fully heals when you play it. I mean, basically the entire Sanctum suite here is pretty good creatures that beef up and allow extra attacks between them, and then a bunch of cards that heal and or protect them. Okay, it might not be great for amber generation, but this Sanctum line here, great. Great for getting creatures out. Lion gives extra power, A-Bond gives extra armor, Shal protects the neighbours, Grey Rider lets you give extra attacks, and then we've got Hallowed Blaster, which heals, Golden Aura, which heals and protects, Hallowed Shield, which protects, Healing Blast, which heals, and Shield of Justice, which protects. That's ridiculous. Really quite ridiculous. This is not some kind of super powerhouse deck. But there is an awful lot to like here, and for a prize deck, I like it very much. But I'd like to know what you think about it, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk about Keyforge and other games, and do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus pods, etc. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.